Okay, good evening, everyone. Hope you're all doing great. And I think it's a great time for cricket as well, with the ongoing Asia Cup and with India winning a couple of iconic matches, some nail biting ones, and some of them where we saw Minnows performing really well. And we have seen something equal happen in the MCL space as well, with so much of competition and highly fluctuating leaderboards and so many elements of uncertainty. I think it's all lovely and beautiful. So we have Gamer One with us. Hello, Gamer One. Good to have you here.
Hey, Gav, how are you?
Great as always. How you been?
Good. So, speaking about the Asia Cup, who do you think is going to be the champions at the end of it?
Okay, so I do not want to get into any speculation, but yeah, come on, like in the heart of hearts, it's all of us want our countries to win the Asia Cup. It's definitely a coveted ICC event. Come on, and it's a really competitive play, right? So. Like we have had, I mean, there was a time when India and Pakistan and Sri Lanka were the only three teams competing in the finals, and then Bangladesh came in and they threw some scintillating performances, and now Sri Lanka is back in action, and then we have Afghanistan, and then we have Hong Kong. So we never know. So I think this is what makes the entire landscape of Asian cricket really thrilling. And as long as we have this kind of competitions, and as long as we have leagues, and as long as we have tournaments that will keep exploring the skills of players. I mean, Ruturaj is all set to make his test debut. Ruturaj Gaikwad is set to make his test debut, and I think all these things like that are going to make cricket. I mean, like it's like the classic Ravi Shastri statement. At the end of the day, all what matters is that cricket is the winner, right? So it's fine. I think it's all. Let me not speculate into the territory of who would be the winner, but I think it's going to be a good competition, and I would be happy whoever wins.
Yeah, likewise here. The matches are very exciting.
Yes, we like what to say. We never thought we would have so much of last over drama in. I mean, I'm not even talking about India versus Pakistan. I'm talking about India versus Hong Kong. I'm talking about Sri Lanka versus Bangladesh. So everything had so much of adrenaline pump during the fag ends of the matches, and while I would love to remain a fan of Test cricket, can't deny that the kind of uncertainty that comes into T20 is unparalleled. Maybe Test is more about strategy, but if we want to experience the thrill of the game, if we want to experience how just one bad over might, like turn the entire game upside down, I think T20 has its, I wouldn't say just T20, but shorter formats. Like, come on, ours is a 3 over match, and we still have the thrill always running really high, really high, right?
Yeah, so I think MCL as well as a 3 over match makes it even more competitive in that sense.
Yes. See, in the shorter formats, every ball is tried to be hit, and I mean, like every delivery is aimed at the stump. So you just want to somehow restrict. It might not be about wickets. It's more about restricting runs, and I think this is what precisely happens with respect to MCL as well. So I think this entire shorter format of the game, people have their share of criticism about how it has destroyed the purity of the game, how it has made bowling lose its significance, and how there is how there is loss of um, power to the wicket taking capabilities, because at the end of the day, what I mean, literally at the end of the day, the match gets over. So I think I mean, there are people who have this kind of criticism, but I think shorter formats have their own share of enjoyment. As much as sports is sports, sports is also entertainment for players who don't play. I mean, for people who don't play. I think the shorter formats have increased the quotient of entertainment. Yes, for purists, it's kind of difficult to not go with the most pristine form of the game. But come on, let's all admit it. We just sit in front of television and we celebrate every boundary and every wicket as if we are a part of it. Like it's as if every match that the country plays is like MCL match where you are playing. That's the kind of involvement that we have, even if there are no prizes involved.
That is so true. But I think, like, let's get back to the AMA. A lot of people have already been thinking us about, like, get started with it. So
Okay.
yeah, we can go questions away.
All right, perfect. And let's start with something that's been going around for a while. See, we have been talking about the MCL game being borderless, the MCL game being universally accessible. But right now, the most powerful, the most significant territory of discrimination that we face in MCL is that it is not available for the iOS, and much to the misdelight. I know I coined this word, but it's okay. Much to the absence of delight of people, it's not available on this thing on the Play Store as well. So we have been talking about this for a couple of weeks, and what's the stance, and what are we going to do about it?
So yeah, like as you know, earlier this week we received some feedback on a recent build that we submitted to the Google team. This is with regards to the Play Store listing, and like we receive a lot of changes regarding that has a lot to do with like both the crypto regulation. There's like a lot of uncertainty over there, both from Google as well as like the Indian government having like not clear regulatory stances on this. And our team has taken this into consideration, and we are working on like sorting out both this development challenges as well as the legal challenges to provide for a smooth listing. And like we also got an interesting feedback from the Google team, which is uh, they mentioned that it would be better if our game did have a free to play mode, as it's going to like sync well with the other games that they have on their platform. So we are having an internal discussion on the same, and like once we do reach a consensus, we are also going to be working on the development of this free mode. But we are at the moment we are weighing down on the pros and cons of this. And as you know, this is going to take some iterations, and there's also some approvals involved in this process. On the side note, we are working on the iOS version of the game as well. And to mention, we are also working on a .exe version of the game that you can then play on the PC. This is, like in line with our commitment to bring the game on multiple platforms. And overall, like there's always challenges when you're trying to integrate blockchain games into traditional web 2 platforms. And since we don't want to like list a game and then maybe a few weeks down the line like we run into obstacles. So following those correct routes, like it's always very long drawn and also a tedious process, and our team is working very hard to uh, like bring MCL mainstream.
Okay. So the irony is that when you're talking about bringing MCL mainstream, it's basically telling that we are bringing MCL into the Web 2.0 space. I think it's a very tricky situation. So it's more like there are so many things that need to be complied with before the game gets into the Play Store and the App Store, I guess. But anything said, I think since we are at the adolescence of the entire,
Just
yes,
like you need to get a license for like before you start driving, as well as like you have to go through multiple obstacles before you start new things. So I guess especially when it comes to bringing in something new, which is like Web3 into an already existing framework, there's always going to be challenges there. I think that's something that we need to consider as well.
Yeah, it's more like, we are Formula One drivers, but we are not 18 yet. So even if we have the best driving skills, I think there might be a few legal regulatory challenges. But yes, I think maybe it's not that playing the game on Android has an issue anyway. Just that being a part of the Play Store will make it easier, and it's going to make the entire experience better for the community. And as I was telling, maybe this entire, I mean, we are in that adolescence of the web, so like we as in like not just as the entire community maybe, so we are with one foot on web 2 and one foot in web 3, and it's going to be a bit difficult. And generally the regulatory framework lags. All right, it's after on only after a significant portion of people have moved, and only after there is a little bit of turmoil in that space, the entire regulatory part steps in. It's okay. And I think if we are bringing the exe versions, and if something could be a breather of sorts to people who have just iOS devices, I think that could be a really good avenue for people to explore. It's not that Android isn't a widespread platform, but having it for a Windows system would also be a really good a really good inclusion. And it's only right for the community expected, because like we want MCL to be universally accessible. So now that we are talking about universal accessibility, we had a tournament that was like extremely appreciated and welcomed by a lot of people, the rookie tournament. And it's only acceptable, understandable, and in every way expected that the community wants these kinds of more of these kinds of tournaments. So is there anything that you have to address this particular want of the community?
So yeah, when you refer to the Rookie Arena 1 and 2 tournaments that recently concluded, internally, the development team was very happy with the response that we got for these two. And also that motivated us to take on, to continue building on this excitement. So we're working on bringing in, some new features around this. And some immediate things that we are working on right now is, as we continue to see more and more users logging in every day, and we are working towards increasing our threshold of how many players we can support concurrently. So we are working on increasing that number to 10,000 concurrent. So what that means is, we are working on making a smoother matchmaking experience, as well as to limit the number of if there's any drop in pings. So server side as well, there's a lot of work going on from our end. And at the same time, a lot of you guys have given suggestions on different tournament formats as well as match formats. So I think a long-standing demand from most of you here has been, that can we introduce fixed number of matches. So wherein I think some people have mentioned, can we have like everyone playing 10 matches, everyone playing 5 matches? So we're happy to announce that we are in very early stages of development for these fixed matches. And while you guys wait for the development process to get completed, you can always drop your suggestions and let us know what kind of tournaments, what kind of matches do you wish to have, and any good suggestions we are going to definitely consider, and create some prototypes around it.
That's really fantastic, Gamer One. So the different formats of the match, I think, is something that the community has been asking quite a lot, and it is only going to make the and yeah, it's only going to make the entire MCL experience landscape more vivid. And I know there are a lot of people who would love a slightly longer game. I know there are people who would love some kind of a limitation in terms of as maybe the number of matches or something like that, that would make the entire game more thrilling. So instead of just, I mean, like, as much as this, there are also people who like to explore infinity in all directions. So I think maybe we should consider all these bits of feedback um, and we should work on work on features or gaming formats that could be added. And so we've been talking about the Rookie Arena one stuff, right? So when we bring such kind of tournaments, uh, don't you think like it will also create a bit of, a very equated or a very democratic clashing ground for people, I mean, for the NFTs, and it will also have matches being more equally poised. Yeah, I know most MCL matches happen like that, but having some kind of a restriction with respect to, let's say, we have been having rookie tournaments. So, how do you think the match landscape would be like? Since it's in every definition a clash of equals. What do you think the gameplay experience would be?
So I think like fixed matches would be something similar to like T20 format. Like very close, very fast, very competitive, and also given that you have say you're playing a 10 match fixed limit. So you know that each match counts, and just like any tournament that's out there which has these kind of eliminations, so we need to take each game seriously. And also there comes in then the strategy bit where you need to set a very good team, both the batsman as well as the bowler, and also I guess you have to make the best use of the pitch that has been provided in that particular match.
Okay, so there are so many uncertainties, so many factors, and you've also been talking about the pitch, and I think the pitch is like a match changer in the game of cricket. So there are some, I mean, like uh, maybe people call the subcontinental teams as flat track bullies or whatsoever, but again, I think if subcontinental teams have an edge in subcontinental pitches, I think the Sena teams have their edge in those pitches that just, let the ball glide into the this thing and glide into the batsman and let them caught in the slip cotton. But yeah, as you've said, uh, every game, every match, and every stadium and every pitch has its own equation to change the course of the game. And now that we are talking about stadiums, I think like one of the things that we need to talk about is the stadium NFTs. So how are things going with that particular thing? And yeah, so what's your comment on that?
Yeah, so when you speak about stadiums right now, the entire team's focus is on building goodwill for the game. This includes both by increasing the user adoption and at the same time improving gameplay and bringing in new features that will promote to a better experience overall. And for these two objectives, the team is working very hard on, as I mentioned earlier, we're taking into consideration the suggestions that we have received from the community. So one thing that we're working on internally is those fixed matches. Apart from that, we're also like looking into some new gameplay features that we can introduce. And apart from this, there's also work going on from the server side into, like ensuring smoother matchmaking experience as well as making sure that like there's no untoward incident occurring as well. And as I also mentioned earlier about the listing, the progress that's going on towards listing for the Google Play Store, uh, like we have received a barrage of feedback, and there's still a lot of development work that has to be. That's like we have to allot a lot of resources towards that end as well. And as you know, like since they mentioned that we need to like maybe make a free to play mode for which we need to have a prototype that we could then test out and see if like it is worth going ahead with. So as we are already like constrained by these two objectives, the stadium NFTs have taken a backseat for now, but we will be like once we are like clear about these two things for now, like we will once again focus on the stadium NFTs at a later date.
Okay, that's I think very excellent, or rather a timely move, I would say. And like when something is in the back seat, it generally means it's moving forward, maybe not in the front, but still it's moving along. And I think it's okay for the stadiums to wait a little bit if we can get everything else achieved, which is getting.
The whole idea is like once we have enough users as well, and we can promise a much more richer gameplay experience as well with like new features and other improvements to the game. So it's a very fine balance. So I guess it's kind of a yeah, it's mostly a balancing act. Since we are a very I would say a very small team, like managing the resources towards, like a certain sprint. Also, we need to like take that into consideration as well.
Yeah, yeah, Gamer One. I think it's like what to say. It's all about priorities, and I think like if I have to give a very bad but practical example, like you can still play cricket in multiple grounds, even if not for like stadiums. And for now, what matters is that the gameplay, the experience of cricket, and the availability of the game across all platforms. I think that would take definite priority over stadiums. And it was never like anticipated that we would go through this kind of we would go through this kind of bit of sorry about so we would we would take that kind of this thing approach towards um, clearing all the legal and regulatory hurdles. And now that we are in the middle of it, I think we should not be backing out, and we should just get into perfecting the game. And as long as it is still on the cards, I think it would be a really good thing. And I think if you're going to prioritize the free to play mode in the near future, that would also be something that will bring a very congruent, though not completely, I mean, a very similar, though not completely congruent MCL experience for a lot of people. And we have been talking about stadiums, and there is another element of uncertainty that makes MCL a really thrilling game, and that is about the swipe angle deviation, especially with respect to the dual bat NFTs. But I think, just like anything that might involve mathematics, it's also complicated. So, Gamer One, I think like it's your responsibility to really unravel or demystify the entire game mechanics of this swipe angle, and how is it going to work, and how is it going to impact the gameplay, everything on those lines.
Yeah, so I think a lot of queries came this past week about the swipe angle deviation, and especially when you consider the dual bat NFTs. So, as you guys already know, each MCL backed NFT, they are broadly classified into any of the four categories, which is like rare, super rare, ultra rare, and immortal. And there are two variations of bats that we have. One is the single sign bat, and the other one is the dual sign bat. And with each category and based on whether they're single or dual, um, they have additional benefits like 2x runs power ups, as well as negative runs reduction, and also the swipe angle deviation. Now, uh, you guys have already seen the white paper, the formula that we use for swipe angle deviation, but this applies to only the rare, super rare, and ultra rare sign bats. And just for some clarification, the example that I will take is, say a super rare bat, which is a single sign super rare bat. It has a power of 71. So in that case, the swipe angle deviation for that particular bat would be, since we use 15 degrees as the benchmark for it, and then when you take the sum of it, since super rare bats, the highest power that it can go up to is like 85, and in this case, the bat that we're considering is 71. So it's we're going to be dividing it, the sum of it, which is like 85 minus 71. So we have around 14, and when you divide it by 2, that's like 7. And then 15 degrees, which was the benchmark for super rare bats. So that's like 15 degrees plus the 7 degrees. So we get 22 degrees. Now, this 22 degrees, it's, like when you I guess when you guys try to hit a shot, you can see that's it's like a radial that's there, which tells you which region the shot is going to be played in. So when you try to hit a ball with like a super rare bat, it's going to be, in this case, the 71 power 1. So since it has a 22 degree deviation, it's going to be, within the range of plus 11 degrees and minus 11 degrees. So when you play the shot in that particular direction, it's going to be landing, anywhere in any place within that deviation spread. Uh, I hope maybe we could put an example of this, or you guys could refer to the example in the white paper for this particular calculation. I guess without a chalkboard or a whiteboard, it just would be overwhelming. Uh, and as far as dual bat NFTs go, right? So since there are only 200 units of this unique bat, so we consider it as a class in itself. And given that there are two bats, and it won't do justice as well to give them some kind of variable swipe angle deviation, we kept it a uniform 5 degree swipe angle. But also you guys should keep in mind that each NFT bat's benefits, they do not operate in isolation. So you cannot just take the swipe angle deviation and be like, why is it capped at a particular um, like a particular angle, because we also have to club it with the other benefits that do come with the particular bat. So in this case, the 2x power ups, as well as the negative run reduction. So when you consider the dual bat NFT, it has, yes, it has the 5 degree cap for the swipe angle deviation, but it also comes with two chances of the 2x runs power up. So that does give you some mileage over there. And also when you do get out, it only limits you to just one minus one negative runs. So in a way, each bat in MCL have their own strength and benefits. So there is a strategy to figure out, to using the bats as well.
Okay, so you know what, Gamer One, during at the beginning of this millennium, I think it was around 2002 or something, there is this Tamil movie called Kadal Konde that came up. And in that movie, this actor Dhanush, he solves a mathematical problem. When everyone's looking at it, he just goes on and on and on and just, like what to say, ends it with quote demonstratum. So your explanation was kind of like that, like what to say, suddenly 71, 18, 22, 7, 15, all these things like that, and suddenly 5. Like, as you said, I think it's good for the community to probably take a look at this thing, take a look at the white paper maybe. And so let me try to like make the mathematics a little more of English, game over. Let me know if it makes sense, because like the thing, the game better. So if let's say that if let's say there is an NFT bat with a greater power, then the angle of deviation, the probability of the ball being uh, accurate to where it was hit remains high, right? So the deviation will be less, which means if a player intends to hit the ball in a particular direction, there is a greater probability of that ball going in that particular direction without much deviation, right?
Yes, yes, you're correct. So lower the angle of deviation, the more accurate the shot is.
All right, fantastic. So I think I think it kind of let's leave the math for a moment, and probably let's get back to the get back to the white paper maybe sometime later. And if let's say the community needs further explanation, then I think we can do it better. So the maximum deviation angle will be 30 degrees, and the minimum deviation angle will be 10 degrees, right?
The minimum in this case, since even immortal bats are there, it also goes to 0 degrees with them, like the accuracy getting better. And with
Okay.
bat NFTs, it's at 5 degrees.
Mhm.
So also like the power does play a role in, like for the other bats, which is the single, ultra rare, super rare, and rare. So the power does play a role for the single NFT, signed bat NFTs.
All right. That's quite a lot of information to take, but I think the crux of it has been like well delivered. Thank you, Game Over. And MCL has been going on for quite some time, and like we've had like a couple of cricket tournaments happen during MCL, and it's been like what a little over a month now. So you've been looking at the game, the community, the prizes, the response, the feature requests, the pulse of the people, and what they talk about it, and every kind of emotion that is directed towards the game, that is directed towards us also. And there's so much. So what's your feel, or what's your experience of being a part of this entire MCL revolution?
So yeah, not wanting to sound cheesy, but like the month did go by very fast. I would say in a blink. But there has been a lot of progress over the past 30 days, and both in terms of what we were able to achieve, as well as a lot of learnings that we were able to receive from the community. Uh, so as far as the achievements go, we were able to push out a significant update a couple of weeks ago. If you guys remember the MCL August update 2022, which we had new features like the night stadium mode, then the rookie only tournaments, also the pitch varieties, which we had three new pitch types, which is like the dry, normal, and green, as well as we also made some changes based on feedback on the bowler selections. So this way, you could go ahead and use the same bowler throughout the 3 overs. And apart from it, we also did make some, like introduce some new fielding animations as well. You guys might have noticed it when uh, saving the boundaries, as well as for the when you get caught out. So there's an animation over there, a new animation over there. And apart from it, we also did focus on some improving, like the access to the game. This was mainly in terms of introducing the left hand controls, and also a very minor one, which is you could toggle the vibrate mode on and off whenever you hit a boundary. But when you do ask about what change that I like the most, I would say it was the Rookie Uli tournament because for the community, like it did bring a new competitive flavor to the game, which is, like we didn't allow anyone to use any bats as well. And it was only a rookie, only team. So there was a lot of decisions to be made from the users end on how they want to set up the team, as well as uh, like relying purely on skill to play these matches. And I think the community, through their feedback, also did reciprocate to the rookie tournaments. And apart from that, like on the development side, there has been the past month there has been a lot of experimentation that has been going on, as well as like learning. And I would like to say on behalf of the team, like we are very happy with the support we have been receiving from the community. And you guys can like always continue giving your suggestions for the game. uh, yeah.
That's really fantastic, Game On. I think it's like it seems like it's just been a month or so, but um the kind of features that we have brought in and the kind of feedback for the community that has been translated into features, I think it's really wonderful. And it is these things that it is these implementations that keep the community really energized, and they should, I think, feel that it's a game driven by the community and it's a game built for the community. And it's a good thing. It's like an eventful month, and I really hope that the oncoming months will be as eventful as this one, if not better. And yeah, like a lot of things might look trivial, but these little things like left hand controls, I think they are a really significant change that has been made into the game. Because like come on, like we've had people like Saurav Ganguly and Suresh Raina like ace the game, and I think it's only right that we forgive the irony, but I think it's only right that we respect the left-handers and give them the control that would make their gameplay really um, comfortable, and the fielding animations as well. People should get a feel that they are a part of the game, and they are being in an environment where things look as real as they can be. And these fielding animations, they just go that extra mile in establishing that. And so the rookie only also has been one fantastic input, or a fantastic injection into the game, I would say. I don't think it was a part of the defined roadmap. And this is one really important milestone to tell everyone that MCL is taking into consideration the viewpoints of the community. And so another thing that the community has been uh, yeah, another thing that the community has been has been concerned about is the kind of delay that we experience with respect to the processing of the deposits, the processing of the withdrawals. So, what exactly is choking things, and how are we going to address that, Gamer One? So, your insights on that, please.
So of late, there has been a lot of congestions, both for deposits and withdrawals. But this is mainly from our third-party processor, like who support us for the payments. So we're working very closely with them to understand what is the issue, as well as how we can, uh, like sort this out. Because definitely it is a pain point for our users, and but like we are working very hard on this. And as far as withdrawals go, whenever you guys do put in a request for withdrawals, From our end, we immediately process those requests. But when it does go, that request, the same request goes to the third-party payment processor. There are some delays over there, but we are working on sorting these things out.
All right. So, because yeah, if I think that's one of the most important things to be addressed on a priority basis, as much as we have things regarding the Play Store and the iOS app and the exe things like those. I think this one also needs to be addressed, and I'm. It's a good thing that this thing also has been given priority, and I really hope it will soon cease to be one of the topics of discussion in our team talk sessions. And let's also talk about the ongoing Super Clash. And it's a brilliant successor to the Grand Slam, I would say, like how the Bugatti Veyron got its Bugatti Chiron. I think it's like a really nice upgrade to the entire experience, and the icing on the cake, or the crown jewels of the this thing, the meta. I mean, the Grand Slam was the finale. So now, when we are going with the Super Clash, so what to expect with respect to the finale of the Super Clash?
So at this moment, we are in talks with the sponsor regarding the finale for the Superclass series. But also from the sponsor's perspective, they have mentioned that they are more keen to fund an entire tournament series instead of just a one-off standalone finale. But from their end, the whole logic is because they get more time to promote their brand as well as display their brandings throughout the tournament instead of just limited to a day. So we are still negotiating with the current sponsor, and we will let you guys know the Super Clash series finale. But moving forward, whenever we do onboard a sponsor, we will make it a point to, um, include the take them from the beginning of the tournament series instead of be focusing on the finale.
Okay, okay, Gamer One. And yeah, I think it kind of makes sense from the sponsor's perspective. So, like what to say, just imagine if the entire series had to run as IPL and suddenly the final is Alone Tata IPL finale. It's not a it's not something that the brand would welcome, and it's completely understandable, I would say. And I hope that this entire sponsorship thing gets into place, and we have entire series named after sponsors, and I think that is what would make Meta Cricket League a really close one to actual cricket, instead of just confining ourselves to just one. And yeah, instead of confining ourselves to just one, I think it'll be good if we can have the entire series going on, and the entire series bearing the name of a sponsor will be like a delightful experience for our users, the community, the sponsors, and for everyone who's involved in the gameplay ecosystem.
Yeah.
All right. So, Gamer One, I just wanted to know if there is anything else that the community is curious to know about, and
Yeah, so I think scrolling up, there's a question from VJKH, which is what about NFT rentals? So, as I did mention in our previous AMA as well, we are working very closely with the guild to get insights for building this rental feature. And we have also completed the initial functional requirement document for this particular feature. And the developers have, like chalked out a roadmap for building this feature. And in the meantime, if you guys do have some suggestions on what you might want to see for a rental feature in particular, or if you have come across some interesting rental concept in another game or another scenario, like you can always share your suggestions here. Moving on, I think Darsh also had a question regarding one is which is can we bring 2FA for logging in when logging into the site? So as of now, we have a very initial build, and I think when I did speak to the developers last, maybe in a week time or like a week or two, we are going to be having this particular feature for 2FA rolling out. So this will improve, give you guys more control over your account. And I think the second question was please improve the time for deposit and withdrawal. For this, we are working very closely with our third-party payment provider uh, because a lot of concessions are occurring on their end. So to sort this out, we're working very closely with them. And I think Heisenberg had a question about when are we going to be getting it on Play Store. So as of now, we have received some new feedback from the initial build that we did submit to Google, and they did mention that there are still some regulatory issues with regards to it being a blockchain game. But they did suggest that if we do have a free to play mode within the game, it would help with making the listing easier. So we are considering this, and maybe we are planning to work on a prototype after seeing the pros and cons for this. So that's the update for the Play Store listing.
Okay, Game On. I think quite some of the questions have been addressed, and yeah, I guess we have come to the fag end of the team talk session, and it's been quite fruitful, I would say, and we have been talking about a lot of upcoming features and the things that the community has been requesting, and I'm sure this is going to be of a lot of them are going to be effectively addressed by everyone involved in the ecosystem, including but not limited to the game developers, the researchers, the support, and of course the community itself at times. And um, when we bring a lot more of these features, I think MCL will steadily continue to improve. And yeah, so now we have taken the questions, and it's been implemented. It's been implemented for a lot of features, and if this continues to be the trend, I think we will have a game that is centered around the community and at the same time uncompromising on the experience it's going to give in terms of its congruency with real cricket. And I think it's the day is not far behind. So thank you, Gamer One, for this lovely time, and I think it's been a wonderful session. So as always, wishing everyone a really fantastic weekend.
Yeah. Happy weekend, guys, and have fun.
Yeah, thank you, everyone. Bye bye.